Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Desktop Central Training. I'd like to thank everyone for joining today's webinar in your busy schedule. Before we move further, I would like to check whether you all can hear my voice and view the presentation. So it'd be great if you confirm that on the chat. I'll be waiting for your confirmation. Thank you all for the confirmation. Let me introduce myself. My name is Abraham Zebaraj, and I have 5 years of IT industry experience. I'll be the presenter for the session, and I'm going to demonstrate about remote control today. Let's have a quick look at the training schedule. So as you all know, this is 7 weeks training schedule, and we are in the 4th week of the training schedule. So all the training videos will be recorded and it will be accessed from the below mentioned website, desktopcenter.com training.html. In case if you missed the previous training modules, you can access this link and download the videos. Even all registered participants will be receiving these videos through email. So today's topic is remote control. So before we move further, let's have a quick look at the agenda of today's. So first we'll start with the overview of remote control. We'll see how it works in the background. And next, followed by that, we'll be discussing on the uses of remote control and other related tools available in Desktop Central with few real-time examples for better understanding. So first I have taken a scenario like, so we can see how help desk technician can remote control and assist customers in installing Adobe Acrobat Suite and troubleshooting Wi-Fi issues. And second, I have taken commonly used issues in PCs, which is system slowness. So let's see how we can use tools in Desktop Central to troubleshoot on this. And third, in an organization, enforcing IT policies is very much important. So we'll see how Desktop Central can be used in this. And finally, we'll also see how Desktop Central can be used to alert the end users in an emergency situations like your Microsoft Exchange server is down. Followed by that, we'll be discussing on few other interesting scenarios and solutions that we came across in our support experience. During the training, if you guys have any questions, feel free to type your questions in chat. We have an expert panel team available who will answer your questions. We'll also be discussing on few commonly asked questions by end of this presentation. Okay, let's move ahead and start with the overview of Desktop Central. So Desktop Central is called as Unified Endpoint Management Solution, which helps in managing server, laptops, desktops, and smartphones, right, from a central location. In traditional enterprise endpoint management solutions, we have some difficulties in managing modern IT environments, which involves heterogeneous devices or with devices with which travel outside from the office organization's network. But so this Desktop Central offers an umbrella approach as an unified endpoint management to manage all the endpoint devices within an organization from a central location. That's an advantage of Desktop Central. So Desktop Central supports 3 operating systems: Windows, Macintosh, and Linux. You can see the versions of each in the slide. Okay, let's have a quick look at the architecture of Desktop Central also. As you all know, Desktop Central is an on-premises solution, and this is a client-server-based application. So agents should be installed on each and every machine that you wish to manage. The client machines might be in your local network, in your local office, or it could be in a remote location like remote offices, or even it could be a roaming users as well. There are different ways that you can use for installing the agent. First, from the console, you can install the agents, or you can download and install the agent manually or by script-based deployment. Or if you're already managing the machines through Active Directory, you can use group policy and you can install the agent. Coming back to the architecture, you can manage machines in LAN, WAN, and in all the scenarios, you need to have agents installed on all these machines. In case, if you have large number of computers in a remote office and if you have concerns with bandwidth, then you can use this option called distribution server. So what is this distribution server? So when a patch or a software task is created for the machines in this remote office, usually all these machines will directly reach out to the main server to download the patches. But if you use a distribution server alone will reach out to the main server, download the patches or software packages, and then the agents will download the patches or software packages from this distribution server. So this feature helps you in managing the bandwidth efficiently in your network. Even roaming users can be managed using Desktop Center. To achieve this, you may have to expose your server to internet by using the NAT functionality, so network address translation. So you can allocate a public FQDN to your server, and you can make those machines an internet to communicate to the server through public FQDN. Or you can place your server in DMZ as well, so demilitarized zone. I assume everybody knows about DMZ. So it is where you can securely host your Desktop Center server. So here are the components involved in Desktop Center. We have seen about server, agent, and distribution server. And other components are notification server. Notification server is another important component which plays an important role in any on-demand tasks like remote control and on any on-demand tasks like scan, patch scan, or inventory scan and all that. And even failover server is another important feature. So this brings in an additional server and which actively monitors the primary server and takes over the operations when a primary server fails. This feature helps you in eliminating the downtime in your business. Okay. As I told you before, you need to expose your server in internet to manage the roaming users. But if you use a forwarding server, you can avoid exposing your main server. Let me show you how. Okay, here is the architecture diagram which includes the forwarding server. So forwarding server brings in an additional server in between the main server and all the remote office client machines. So any communication between this roaming agents or any remote office agents should be routed only through this forwarding server. So this brings in a secure communication layer between the main server and the roaming agents. So this will be very useful if you have concerns in exposing a main server to internet or having constraints in placing the main server in DMZ. Okay. You can also place your Desktop Central server in AWS or Azure Marketplace. So there are advantages placing your server in cloud. For example, if you are a managed service provider, placing your server in cloud and managing multiple customers' environment will be an added advantage for you. Even if you're placing the server in cloud, managing the roaming users will be an easier for you, and it will be a cost-effective solutions where you can avoid hardware infrastructure and maintenance cost. Desktop Central will be available on cloud very soon. Now we have released a cloud for another managing product, which is Patch Manager Plus. We also have plans to introduce our own cloud platform called Zoho Cloud, so Desktop Central can be hosted from Zoho Cloud as well in future. Okay, so ports. Here are the ports used by Desktop Central. So I would request you to open all these ports on the server end to use certain functionalities in Desktop Center. For example, voice and video call, video chat is one of the features in Desktop Central. Works with a UDP port, which is 8443. Even agent-server communication happens on 8020, and server-to-agent notification happens on 8027, which is TCP port. And even you can make this agent-server communication to happen on securely in a secure port, which is HTTPS port, which is 8383. To know more about the ports, you can visit this below link, desktopcentral.com ports. Okay, here's very important feature in the architecture, 90 minutes refresh policy. Desktop Central architecture is scalable to manage even larger networks up to 20,000 client machines. So this is possible because of this 90 minutes policy that we use. So what is this 90 minutes policy? Every Desktop Central agent should be communicating, will be communicating to the main server for every 90 minutes. So that is called 90 minutes refresh policy. So this feature ensures all the computers in the network contact the server periodically. Two important factors are ensured here. One, the network is not being choked by the agent server communication, meaning bandwidth is not being disturbed due to the agent server communication. Even the performance of the server is not getting affected anytime. So Desktop Central has an intelligence to slice down the number of client machines that should communicate to the server per minute. For example, in a network of 90 computers, only one computer will reach out to the server for every minute. And in case, if you're managing 900 computers in your network, 10 computers will reach out to the server per minute. Likewise, if it is for 900 machines, 100 computers will reach out to the server per minute. So using this feature, the communication between the server and the agent will be regularized. So that is all about 90 minutes refresh policy. And so that is all about the general architecture of Desktop Central. If you guys have any questions on this architecture of Desktop Central, please do raise your questions in chat. Our expert panel will answer your questions. Okay, let's move further. And so here's important things. So far we have seen how Desktop Central works. So now we'll move on and discuss about the functionalities of the Desktop Central and the uses of remote control and other tools with few real-time examples. As I told you before, I have taken 4 real-time examples. Let's proceed and see one by one. So here's the first real-time example that I have taken, resolving help desk ticket. Okay, so in this, we'll see how a help desk technician can use remote control to help a user and resolve a ticket. Okay, let's assume an end user, Bob, submits an IT request using service desk portal. And the ticket was assigned to the help desk technician called John. So John logs into his service desk portal. Service desk is another managing tool which helps in managing the ticket. So John logs into his portal and he checks the ticket that Bob has raised. And so Bob has raised 2 requests. One is for installing Adobe Acrobat application. Second is regarding Wi-Fi connectivity issue. So John is planning to use remote control feature in Desktop Central to use Bob on this request. Let me show you how John is going to help Bob. So for better understanding, let's assume myself as John. So I'm logging in as John to the console. Okay. Yeah. So I'm logging in as John console. Okay. So now I'm going into tools and remote control. Okay, so here I can see all the computers that I'm managing. So the agents are already installed on the machine, so I can see the status of the machines as green if they are communicating to the server. So now I'm going to assist Bob here. So I need to find the computer that Bob is using. So I know the username Bob here, so I can use the search option and I can search for the username as Bob, hit enter. So now this brings me the computer that Bob is using. So now I can click on connect and I can troubleshoot on this. But before I connect into his computer, I would like to show you a few important features available before we connect to this computer. So first thing is the viewer type. Okay, there's 2 viewers that we support here in Desktop Central. One is HTML5 viewer and ActiveX viewer. ActiveX is the old Windows-based component. HTML5 is the new component. So ActiveX is like an old, so you'll have some compatibility issues on that. So in case if you like to use this, you can use HTML viewer, which is most browser friendly and easier to use. So I'm choosing this option for now. The second option is prompt user for confirmation. In most of the healthcare organizations, there is a compliance that they need to follow, so which is called HIPAA. So they need to seek permission from the end users before they logs into his computer. So you can utilize this feature for that. If you enable this option and if you click on connect, the user will be prompted for permission. So the end user can accept your remote connection request or deny. You can even enable this option as a global settings from here. You can enable this and you can configure what kind of message that you want to show on that. You can configure the timeout settings, and you can use this option, right? To it. Even you can exclude certain users from this to seek permission from. So this is a primary settings. Okay, so now I need to look for the computer, and I'm clicking on Bob now. Okay, so I'm going to click on the username Bob to connect to his computer. Okay, as soon as I click on this, it is prompting you two details here. So one is the reason. Okay, as I told you before, the technician John is using a service desk plus ticketing tool. Okay, so let me jump into the service desk plus console and show you how that will be. Okay, here is the service desk plus console. So John logs into his console and he can, and so he can check the requests and he can see all the requests raised by Bob and all that. Okay, so he knows the ticket ID. Ticket ID is number 4 here. So he's gonna enter number 4 on this box. Okay, and the next is a reason. For the record purpose, I would like to enter the reason for the remote control. So I can enter the reason here and I can click on connect. Okay, here we go. Within a few minutes, I can see all the windows, all the monitors of end user. Okay, here is it. So you can change the layout. You can change it to different layouts, vertical layout, horizontal layout, everything. Even you can see both the monitors at the same time. So these features are available for you. So these are all the options available for you. So even you can see all the computers if the user is using, more than 2 monitors. You can see all the monitors on the same page. So this is also an advantage for you. And another advantage here is this icon. So here, the end user can see who is actually controlling his computer. So the technician John is controlling, so we can see the username as John. Okay, left pane. So we'll see that one by one pertaining to the scenario here. Okay, so now the user Bob has raised 2 requests. So one is for installing Adobe Acrobat application. So now I need to install this application to Bob in this Bob computer. So for that, I need the setup file, the installation files. So as an administrator, as an technician, I know that the setup file is located in a network share. So how do I access a network share from here? Okay, in traditional way, we'll be using the run command and you'll be accessing the network share. But here, Desktop Central provides all shortcuts here. If I go to quick launch option, I have this option called Explorer. You can easily launch from here to okay here. Okay, so it's a confidential thing. End user Bob. So now I'm planning to uh, blacken the monitor for Bob. So we have this option called blacken monitor in this icon. on here. So I can use this option and I can blacken the monitor. So the end user Bob will not be able to see what I'm actually working on his computer. So then I can access share and I can do anything that I need. Okay, but since the user is already working on this computer, I cannot simply blacken the monitor. So I need to seek permission from the end user before I blacken his monitor. So I can use the chat option. We have three options available for chat: text chat, voice call, and video call. I'm going to simply use the text chat option here. So I can use this. I can seek permission from Bob. Okay, I have the message already. Okay, I'm asking Bob that can I blacken the monitor for a few minutes and I will revoke in a few minutes. Okay, and now assume that Bob is replying as yes. So I'm going to enable this blacken monitor. So now it will show a prompt that it's been blackened. So now I click on OK, and then I will proceed and then I will access the share from the end user's computer. Here it is. So this option, I mean, simply I can share, and then for the setup file from network desktop, I can copy paste it to the desktop. So I pasted network share here. So it is available here. Closing this. So I'm going to run this as an administrator, and I'm going to install this application. So now successfully, and I need to apply for this application. So that the license file is available email in my, how do I transfer the license file? We also have an option called file transfer. So we can use this option, sir. So here I can simply launch the file transfer option from here. So this will give me an option. So this is my mission and this is the target mission. So I'm going to browse desktop. I'm going to select the license file that I have, transfer the file to desktop. Okay. I'll transfer that to that. So successfully transferred and here to the application. And so now I have complete request files. I can move to track the blacken monitor option so that the end user can see monitor. Okay. So the next question that the Bob has raised, Wi-Fi connection issue. Wi-Fi connection. So how do I treat this use remote control? It's simple. With my the available here, so should you have offer and everything. I can simply device manager, can check the character settings. I can even view here everything. So my limited knowledge have showed here, but I fixed these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to from one of my senior tech. So his name is Peter. So I'm calling him and he agreed to work with me on this session. Okay, so I'm going to request him to join the. Okay, so let's see how running. So I'm logging in as Peter. This Pete, and so now I see this stuff on it. View the actively for watching the device managed. Okay, so now the end user can see two users logged in, and so this icon denotes that two users are working, and you can see the two user names also listed here. So now Peter has fixed this issue and he logs out of this session, and I'm the only person available on this session as of now. So John, the technician, John is available here. So Peter also told me that the end user Bob computer has to be rebooted once to apply the fixes properly. Okay. So I'm going to seek permission from the end user now to reboot the computer. So can we quickly reboot your machine? So Bob is replying as yes. And now I can go ahead and use the power option here. Okay, so here is in the quick launch option, you have this power option. So you can simply do log off, reboot, or reboot in safe mode and shutdown. So I'm going to click on reboot. So when I click on reboot, this computer will be rebooted and it will connect me back to the same screen. So it's basically admin user. Default, it will be in a system user privilege. Okay, so this is how I can use a technician, help this technician can use remote control and troubleshoot on the end user's request. Let's have a quick look at the other options available here. So we have an option to, you can switch the monitor, and you can see hotkeys here. So where if you wanted to press Control Alt Delete, and if you wanted to use more shortcuts here, you can use this option. You can simply launch Control window screen. You can simply launch it from here. So this is an option available for you. And even you can disable the input, the keyboard and mouse from the end users. And so you can take a snapshot quickly for using this option. You can save this on your computer. And in the quick launch, we have seen this. So we have seen how to launch the command prompt. Control panel can be easily launched, and even viewer. So you have all commonly used tools in Windows available here. You don't have to even look for the control panel, or you don't have to use the start menu to launch any tools, administrative tools. You have this option. Even administrative tools will be, tasks can be easily done from here, like cleanup can be done from here. You can launch the task scheduler, and you can update the group policy. If you want to quickly update some group policy, you can update it from here. And so these are all the basic things that we have. So now we have come to the end of scenario one. So in this, we have seen how help desk technician is going to use this remote control tool to troubleshoot on this. Okay, as soon as I close this remote control session, I'll be asked to type the work log and resolution. Okay, I type the reason behind it successfully installed. Right, I can add the notes here, and if I want to change status of the ticket, I can change it from here. So now I keep that open and click on save. So the data will be posted to the server, service desk plus server, and then now I can log into the service desk plus console to see the work logs added. So this is a ticket that I have worked on. So the workload, and he can see the start time and end time of this session, and he can see the resolution summary and everything. So this is the first scenario. Okay, right. So hope this was clear. If you guys have any questions pertaining to the scenario, you can type the questions in chat. And so far we have seen how remote control can be utilized, practically. So now we'll also see how it works in the background. So a technician one logs into his computer. He clicks on connect by searching the Bob's computer, and so the server, desktop central server, the request will be sent to the desktop central server. The desktop central server has two components running: gateway component, application server component sends the request to the end user's computer, the Bob's computer, agent. So the agent listens to the request, and so the desktop central agent launch the remote control services, and this remote control services captures the screen of the computer, and it will post the screens to the server again. So this gateway component transmits those images to this technician one. So likewise, when technician 2 logs into his computer and connects to the session, so gateway component has a capability to detect the session is already running. So the same screen will be shared to the technician 2 as well. So this is how remote control works in the background. Okay, so let's have a quick recap on what we have seen. So we have seen how you can use this options called user and viewer. You can change the options on the viewers like HTML and ActiveX for the remote control, and on blackening and how many computer systems can troubleshoot on the system slowness issues raised by end users. Okay, so we have a lot of different options available. We'll look at that one by one. Okay, so here's the tools section again. So normally, when a user raises a request for a slowness issue, as a technician, we will normally check the temporary files and we will check if there is any unwanted process running on the machines and all that. So for that, usually in a traditional way, you'll be using a remote control to do all these checks. But what if I don't want to disturb the end user who's actually working on that computer? Is there an option available in Desktop Central to troubleshoot on this in the background? Yes, we have an option called System Manager. Using the System Manager, you can remotely access all the features in the Task Manager, like we use on the Windows normally. So in the System Manager, if you click on it, you can see all the computers listed here again. I can click on the Manage button right next to any computer that I want to troubleshoot. For example, the user is raising a request here, so I'm clicking on here. So this will open up all the processes running. So it will run a quick scan on the machines in on demand, and it will show me the processes running, services running, and all that. So it will take some time to populate the process. Okay, here we go. This is all the processes running on the machine. If I wanted to close any processes running in the background, I can simply use this option. I can close it. Likewise, if I wanted to sort this based on any filters available, I can sort this based on the filters. I can export this as a report as well. And even you can use this option to disable the service or restart the service and all that. You can change the properties of the services from here. Not only that, you can do it from here as well. So this will give you a remote access to the command prompt. Even you can change the user privilege, the user that you want to run this remote control tool on, this command prompt on. And so registry settings can be changed here. You can see the previously exported registry things over here. You can use it from here. You can explore the registry values. Okay. Yeah, I believe like you're facing some issues here. Okay. Let me quickly check on that. Okay. Can you all quickly confirm whether you can hear my voice? Okay, right. sorry for the interruption. Okay, let's proceed. So we were discussing on the registry settings here. So in this registry settings, you can see all the registry. You can explore the registry values here, and you can see the registry from here. So that's an advantage that you can do. Management itself in each and every missions. You can view the files over here. You can do copy paste. You can delete a file. You can create a folder. You can transfer a file to this, and everything can be done easily from here. Since this file manager and this command prompt involves a sensitive data, we provided a security option available here to customize the restrictions in it. So if I go to admin, I have this option called system manager settings. So it's a mission level. So if I want to enable this for all the users, if I want to disable it for all the users, I can do it. Or I can keep this enabled only for the admin users, or I can permanently disable for all users if you have security constraints on that. So these are options that we have recently introduced on this. Okay, right. So let me click on this again. Okay, and the device manager settings, I can easily view all the device manager settings over here. I can see the drivers used for each and every competence hardwares here. I can see the shares created on this session. I can see the active sessions running. I can see the open files and everything. I can see the printers mapped on this computer, everything. I can export this as a report. I can even see the groups created on this computer. I can do modifications to the group. If I can add a user to this group, I can remove a user from this group. I can even create a new group and I can do modifications to it. So these are all the options available. Even I can see all the softwares installed on this computer. If I want to quickly uninstall an application, I can see this option here. Using this application, I can uninstall this. And even this will list me all the users available on that computer. I can see the status of it. I can see the domain details and everything. I can even see the account type. If it is a local account, I can see the status as local account. So this is all about system manager. So coming back to the scenario, I'm checking all the processes running on this mission, and I'm unable to see any considerable process which is causing this slowness issue. So, so then I will go for the next option to clean up the temporary files on this mission. So how do I do that? So we have another option in this desktop center called System Tools. In this System Tools, we have this option of activities. Okay, let me show you how to create a task. So if I'm creating a task, I have this option to select what are all the operations that I want to perform. So it could be a single operation for the single task, or I can create a a single task with all the operations involved in it. I can select all of them here. And in the next window, I'll be asked to configure the settings on each and everything. In the disk check, I'll be asked to select the disk drives, and I can check the mode in which the disk check has to be performed and everything. And likewise, the disk cleanup is very important part. So I can select which files that I want to clear. If I want to only clear the temporary files, I can do it. Or if I want to clear the cache files, I can enable this. Likewise, I do have a lot of customizations. I can customize each and everything over here, and I can make this task to run. Likewise, I can select the operation mode. So I want to only analyze and defragment, or if I want to consolidate the free space, and I can select the priorities. So should I be consuming large memory during this process, or should it be a low priority or normal priority? And the defragment mode. So it could be a verbose mode or run parallel in the background. So you can easily see the meaning of each and every operations over here in this help section available here. And the next section is the define targets. Here you can define the targets based on your requirement. It could be simply be a remote office, or you can even choose further sub-levels, and you can select only specific computer or group of computers over here. So this is also feasible over here. And you can also exclude the this option and add multiple targets over here. And the next option is the, okay, let me close this. Okay. And the next option is the, I have three sectors, certain user administrator account, or it could be a normal user account, and IPs over here, store the password, and everything can be easily stored from here. And I can set when this task has to be executed. So it could be a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. I can schedule a start time for this job, everything, every day, weekdays, everything can be easily done over here. Even in the advanced settings, you can set the delay for the task, you can repeat this task for every 1 hour, and everything can be easily done over here. Okay, you can set an expiry date for this to get this task to be stopped. Everything can be configured. And the next available option is the conditions. So this is very important. So you can allow this task to be performed only during the idle conditions. So we can set all those conditions over here. You can wait for the idle time here. You can start the task with the computer to be moved from idle state and everything. And even the power management option. So in case if the laptop is running in the battery mode, I don't want to consume a lot of memory or a lot of resources by running this task, so I can disable that option. So everything can be easily configured over here. So this task is going to clear up all the unwanted files from the end user's computer. So now I'm going to intimate Mark that I have created some cleanup task on his machine and end user missions, and I'm going to ask the end user to check the status of this couple of days, and I want him to report back me the status of it. So how do I report this to the end user? So I can use the option called chat here. So where you have three options: text chat, voice call, and video call. So I can use the text chat, as I shown you before. I can chat with the end user and I can ask him to report me the status of it a couple of days ago, or I can use voice call or video call. So this is all about the second scenario. So we have seen how the task manager can be accessed and how we can do the modifications of services, how we can analyze the event log, and so how to run a command in a remote command from check this lead fragmenter. And we have also seen how to initiate chats like video chat and text chat. So this is all about the second scenario. If you guys have any questions in the options discussed on this, you can get back to us on the chat. Okay, so here's the third scenario that we have taken. So enforcing IT policies is very much important in every organization. Okay, so let's assume in my organization, to reduce the wastage of the power, so my department has planned to shut down the computers after business hours and wake up the machines before the production hours. Let's see how we can achieve this by Desktop Central. Yes, Desktop Central has options for this. So first option that we're going to look at is remote shutdown. Yeah, so as we discussed, I have plans to shut down the machines when they are not in use. So I can easily see the machines available here. I can click on shutdown, so this will shut down the machines remotely. Not only this, you also have options called restart, hibernate, standby, lockdown. But this is more of a manual job. But can I schedule this job? Yes, you can schedule this. You can create a one-time task, and you can ask this job to automatically shut down the machine at a specific time. So you can schedule this time when this shutdown has to happen. You can set the conditions over here. And also, you can select the operation. It could be a restart, shutdown, hibernate, and everything. You can schedule all these kinds of tasks. And so now, as for the scenario, I'm going to shut down the machines. So I'm going to select the other options available. So if the user is running or working on that computer, then I'm showing the prompt to the end user. So what is going to happen? And I'm providing the option to skip the reboot on the machines. So this is also feasible at this point. Okay, so now I have scheduled a job to shut down the machines during the half business hours. So next, I need to schedule another job to wake up the machines on the beginning of the day. So how do I achieve that? So for that, I'm going to use this option called Wake on LAN. So like we see before, I can instantly do a wake online command on this machine using this option, or I can schedule a job for this as we see for the remote shutdown. It's very simple. I can simply select the target missions. I can give a name for this. So the port used for the wake online is 7, and you can use the wait time for this, and you can schedule this job for it. But in order to make this wake on LAN work, there are few prerequisites. First, you need to have IP broadcast enabled on your network level, and at least one computer with desktop central agent should be alive on for every subnet. And also, a BIOS has, I mean, in the BIOS level, the wake online has to be enabled. And even we enable this option in the network adapter level by using this option. So if you enable this option and save the settings, on the next refresh cycle, which is 90 minutes, agents will be able to see this option, and this option will be enabled on that computer. So this is all about the third scenario that we have seen. Okay, and one of the important option here that I forgot to tell you is the custom group. Okay, so here is where I can create different kinds of groupings. So in Active Directory, you might have different kinds of groups that you have created based on the department or based on your functionalities. So here, without depending on that, you can create any custom group. You can select any conditions over here. You can select the domain. You can add the computers from the domain. You can give a name for it. You can create a group for this. So this is how I can create a custom group. So this is used in different scenarios in Desktop Center. You can make use of that. Okay. So now in this section, we have seen how to remotely shut down or restore, how to wake on LAN the machines, and how there's grouping and all that. And one last thing is a power management report. Okay. And the next, we have scheduled a job to shut down the machines and wake up the machines on a regular basis. But I wanted to monitor this. So how do I monitor that? So we have a reports section available. In this report section, we have power management reports available. So using this report, I can see the total uptime and downtime of the computer. I can enable all the filters over here. The computers are being alive, and how everything will be easily accessed from this report. Okay, so that is all about the third scenario. So let's move further. Okay, for example, let's consider the MS Exchange server is down in my environment. In this case, the users will not be able to use their mail, and so they will start using, they'll start raising the tickets to the help desk. So to avoid this, you can inform the end users before they raise the tickets, saying that we are already working on it. It's like in Desktop Center to do that. Yes, we have the session message. So this is like this. You can click on Create Announcement. You can type any message like this, and you can configure when this announcement has to be displayed on the end user. And this announcement is based on the user, not based on the computer. As I told you before, you can just use the custom group that you have created to target this announcement, or it could be a user. You can browse your domain this announcement, or it could be a domain based. All right, you can select all the domains. It select even multiple domains in that domain of work group, and even you can select the users in that specific remote office. Not only that, you can set the frequency, so you can show this announcement multiple times a day, or it could be an only one-time message. So the end user, once you configure this, the end user will be able to see the message like this on there. So it will be a pop-up message, so they can see this and they can close this window. Okay, so this is all about the last scenario. Okay, in case if you guys have any questions on this, please feel free to type your questions in the chat. Okay, So now we have come to the end of the scenarios, and so here is the next section, which is other scenarios and solutions. Okay, so first scenario that we're going to discuss is how do I measure the time spent by technicians who are handling the remote control on desktops? Okay, it's very simple. In the tool section, we have this option called history. In this history tab, you have this option to track who has initiated the session and the target missions and the start time, end time, the total duration, and everything. Even you can download it. You can download the recorded video here. So you have an option to record the screen recording, and you can enable the screen recording before, and you will be able to download that videos over here. So this is how you can easily track it. Or else you can go for this tickets, and you can easily monitor who has worked on this ticket, what is the start time, end time, and all that. So this is answer for this scenario. Okay, the second scenario, we would like to monitor the activities of the students in our school without their knowledge. Is this possible? Yes, of course, this is possible. So again, in this remote control tool, you have this option to change this to a view only mode. So you can go to the settings tab available. So you can choose the viewer type. And so here you can enable quick launch or disable the quick launch. So notify the end users about remote connection. So if you disable this option, the end user will not be able to see a small pop-up message on the right side icon. So the end user will not be seeing that the end user, some of the I will not that. So as we discussed before, we have this option called user confirmation. You can enable this option to be compliant with HIPAA, so which is focusing on seeking permission from the end users before you connect to his computer. So this is completely feasible. Okay, right. So scenario number 4, installing and configuring IIS on a remote machine is complex. I want to document the process and use it as a training material for our newcomers. Is this possible? Yes, of course, this is completely possible. So you can use this screen recording functionality in this scenario. So when you do this as an administrator, you will be doing on any one of the machines. So you can enable the screen recording. So the entire session will be recorded. So you can go to this history tab. You can make the users the technicians to be downloaded here, and you can share this as a training material to the other newcomers. So even you can secure the downloading process. You can enable secure downloading here and enable notification. So everything will be easier. You can customize everything over here in the settings. Okay. So scenario number 5, I find my remote sessions are slow when I'm in a different country roaming users. How do I fix this? Yes, of course, this might be one common scenario that I might be facing. So in case if the machine is in internet, right, probably the user might be in home network, so where the connection might be poor. So in that scenario, I can go to this performance tab and I can customize this compression quality and a color quality to enhance the better performance on the remote session. So this option will help you to enhance the performance of this. Okay, so this is scenario number 5. And scenario number 6, one of the employees suspects an unauthorized remote access to his or her mission, has raised to IT manager. Is there a way to audit the remote connections to his or her mission? Yes, of course. As I told you before, you can use this option, history here. You can see all the details available. You can easily use this for it. And even you have this option called Action Log Viewer in this admin tab. So in this, you can see the entire actions performed on this. You can set some conditions over here. You can set the specific module in case if you want to set filter only the actions based on the remote control. You can see this. You can see who has performed this, the event time, username, everything. So the things that you can collate and use this as an audit report. Okay. Okay, so that's all about the scenarios and solutions. So let's have a quick look at the frequently asked questions here. So question number one, I'm running Desktop Central app on my mobile. Can I initiate remote control via app? Yes, of course, this is very important feature. So we also have option to access the features using a mobile app. So it is available for Android and iOS. You can download and install it. So once the application is installed, you can even take remote control of any machine from using this app. So for this will be the control. So this will be the first screen that you can see on the app. So you can search for the computer by using this remote control tab, and you can type the message. You can click on connect using this. So as soon as you click on connect, the end user screen will be popping up. But before that, you will have the small message saying what are the instructions. You can, pinch the screen. You can do a lot of different options. These are all the gestures that you can use to control his computer from the mobile. Okay. So you can view the computer after this control. Okay, so question number two, does the screen recording need to be enabled uh, before you establish a remote session, or can it be turned on during the session? Yes, of course, you need to enable the screen recording using this option before you enable this. Otherwise, the screen will not be recorded. So you need to enable that. And question number three, to allow multiple texts to work on a same remote, does that require additional license from managing it? No, it does not text to work on the same remote control, but to create multiple users, you need to have multiple technician licenses. So only if you have technician license, you can create multiple users. Okay. So question number four, will the remote control automatically reconnect the session after the reboot? Yes, of course. When you reboot the machine using the reboot option in the remote control, yes, it will automatically reconnect. So as I told you before, it will be a reboot and reconnect section. Okay, question number five. My remote control shows port 8443 conflict. So how do I resolve? Okay, so here's the option called port settings. In the tool section, you have this option called port settings. So from here, I can customize the port that I want to use. So in case this is the default port used for HTTPS mode, in case if this port is being occupied by any other application in my environment, then I can use a different port. I can customize it from here. So by using this, you can overcome this kind of conflict issues. So is it possible to take remote control of a roaming users? Of course, yes, it is possible. All you need to do is you need to expose your server to internet, or you need to provide public IP address so that the agents can communicate to the server using this FTDN. And after that, you'll be able to see all the machines listed over here. If the machines are green here, which means they are alive and communicating to the server, and you can take remote control of any machines, which is green here. So the answer is yes here. And question number seven, if you have keyboard or mouse disabled, does it automatically disable for the new tech sharing the session? No. If you disable this keyboard or mouse, then it will be specific to the specific user. In case if you forgot to enable the keyboard option, and if you disconnect the remote session, the end user or the other text can easily access the keyboard. So this is all about it. Okay. So that is all about today's training. So hope you enjoyed the training today. And if you guys like the training, please do rate us on the scale of 1 to 5, whereas 5 is the best. And you can also share your feedback in the social medias by using these hashtags. And we're also conducting the next training schedule here on configurations and hidden tricks, which will be on August 22nd. Please do join this session. And we're also conducting a seminar on endpoint security and management on Philadelphia and Toronto on 16th August and 21st August. Please make use of this. Okay, we also offer free demo, personalized demo for the customers who want to evaluate this application. If you're interested, please share your request or interest in the chat session. Our technicians will help you in scheduling the demo for you. Okay. So that's it for today. And thank you so much for everyone for your patience and in your busy schedule. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.